Welcome to the Beautiful View podcast, where we encourage you to look for opportunities in your life to see a beautiful view. I'm Candy.
And I'm Paul. Today, since we're approaching Valentine's Day, of course, we're going to talk about love. Aww.
Yes, we are. This episode is called Love is a Verb.
Love's a what?
A verb.
A verb. Okay.
Whether you are married, single, in a relationship, or it's complicated, there will be something for you to laugh about and hopefully encourage you on your journey.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful view.
We could climb a mighty mountain, float on down a winding river, travel back in time and face our future too. I'm not scared of where I'm going, 'cause I know whose hands I'm holding. Oh, I'd go anywhere as long as you're going to. Well, I'd go anywhere as long as I'm with you.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
I guess we survived our live podcast experience.
We did. And if you missed that one's online now too. You can go back and watch it.
Yeah.
And you know, it was really a fun day. There was a
fun
great
day.
crowd from the get-go. I mean, even when we started, we were the first ones up.
We were, yeah.
And so I was kind of like, it was at 1 p.m., the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how that would go, but yeah, we had a decent crowd and they were responsive. It was a little bit hard to hear in there.
It was,
but
the room has like high ceilings, concrete ceilings, stone walls, concrete floor. So it's like a little bit like a cave in there. So it was hard to hear.
Yeah.
But we did have a decent crowd. There was a huge crowd later on.
By the end of the day, it was a party.
It was, but for ours, we were a little more subdued, and and it was good. But the people that were there were responsive.
Yeah.
I felt like the time flew by, which it did.
Yeah. we may have talked a little fast on it just because I think it was just nerves more than anything. And we were kind of
a little nervous.
We were pretty purposefully had scripted it pretty tightly so that we didn't get too far off, because sometimes that doesn't go well. And there's no editing when you are live.
No editing at all. So when I mess up, I can edit. But it is what it is. So
yeah.
I felt like what we've learned from this experience is next time we'll probably have a little more material.
Yeah.
So that we have a little more...
Fill out a little more time and slow down.
Slow the heck down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt like, because I knew that the PA wasn't quite reaching people at the back, like they weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
So I kept announcing everything. So I sounded like, I don't know, I was the announcer at a train station or something, or at the airport, Hello, today is the beautiful view. And it wasn't very natural. So
it was fun though.
It was a good reception, and the other podcasters kept saying things along the lines of like, we set the tone.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're the podcasting parents or something like that.
Well, I mean, the whole premise of our podcast was about just soaking up every moment and recognizing where you're at right now and appreciating the people around you and just taking it all in. So that was kind of what our podcast was about. So it was kind of perfect to kind of start the day with, I think. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you missed it, that podcast is up on all of our channels if you want to go back and check it out.
Yes, it is. So the weather has taken a change over the last week.
It's been a weird winter here.
It's been a very weird winter. So it was a week and a half ago, we had -8. We woke up in the morning. We were supposed to go to Dubuque to pick up the food for the food share. Mm-hmm. And so I go out a couple of hours before we're supposed to leave. Mm-hmm. And I put the block heater on the diesel truck, and it was so cold. And so anyway, we went out there. We still couldn't get it started.
It wouldn't. It was like,
wasn't going to start. So we jump in Emily's car, and we took that instead. But then we went from that to this.
Well, that week, they actually canceled one day of school because it was so cold. There was no snow. It wasn't really a snow day. It was like an extreme cold weather
It
day.
was.
And the only thing I can think of that they would have, is for like the bus kids, because, standing at a bus stop waiting for a bus, bus, I get it. So,
And I don't know how those school buses go, but they're all diesel. So they
Yeah,
must be
I don't
facing
know.
the same issues. I don't know how
either.
that works. But for school to be canceled in Iowa, that's kind of a big deal.
yeah.
Doesn't happen that often. But then we went from that to this past Thursday was 55 degrees in the day.
It was gorgeous.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
And so now it's sunny outside right now. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's not bad. It's like, let me see if I can see that far. About 50 degrees right now. And so it's really nice and sunny right now. There is no snow on the ground.
No, the river's even melting. I mean, there are boats out on the river this morning.
Fishing boats out there.
Yeah,
so south of the dam, it's just, there's no ice. North of the dam is a little bit of ice, but it's not anything that even a duck would go out and walk on because it just like busts right through it. It's very thin.
Yeah. Anyway, so what else have we been up to?
Well, we've had basketball games. So
yes.
We have been kind of touring around the countryside, watching basketball games with Tyler.
Yeah.
And Tyler's been having the chance to play here and there, so that's been good.
Yep. We even tied in a you and me day to one basketball game. It was out of town, and so we stopped off and had lunch at a great revivalist brewery in Clinton.
Yes, which was excellent.
Yeah, it was. I had a smash burger,
You did.
and you had like this.
I had an open face lobster sandwich, which sounds very fancy, and it was pretty delicious. It was very, very good.
Yeah, we had an outing at one of our friends' houses. They have a foosball table.
Yes.
This is actually foosball table number
Number
two.
two.
The first one
Got kind of busted up.
and that may or may not had something to do with
Our
someone's
enthusiasm.
really competitive nature. No
Our
names.
enthusiasm. Yes.
So we went over there and had a really great time and heated foosball games.
We are competitive.
There
for sure.
there was a little guy that got broken in the process.
He had to be carried off in a gurney, and it was.
Thankfully, he was
good.
just a plastic guy.
Yeah, I mean, we can fix
wood.
him. Yeah, we'll do some plastic surgery.
He's repairable, but
And he'll be repaired and back to the game before you know it.
oh my goodness. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
We did not win the best wellness and relationship podcast at the Iowa Podcast Awards last year for nothing.
This is true.
Today, we're going to jump into the topic of love.
Love.
Specifically, we're going to talk about how love is a verb.
Love's a what?
A verb.
Okay. So Valentine's Day is coming up next week. And it's on a Friday this year.
Yes.
A Friday night.
A Friday night, guys. This is your friendly reminder to plan something if you have a special someone in your life.
Yes.
As of the release of this episode, you have almost a week.
A whole week. That's like hours.
You're
and
welcome.
Hours and hours.
Okay, so I have a
Yes.
joke for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Did you hear about the porcupine who was nearsighted?
He tripped over the tortoise while he was going across the road.
No. He fell in love with a pincushion.
Oh dear. Oh no. So he was obviously not a big conversationalist.
No, I think it was love at first sight.
It's getting worse. So keeping it real, each week we take a minute to take a photograph for our thumbnail for the week for the episode.
Yeah.
And so yesterday you got back from work, which was kind of a hectic day.
Yeah.
And got changed, and it's instantly jump in front of the camera and let's do the picture for this week.
Yeah.
Which involved a little kiss.
Uh-huh.
And at some point, you did what you just did right there, and you bust out laughing right in my face.
I did. I think I might have even blown some air in your mouth. Sorry about that.
Air mixed with spit. Yes, you did. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. That's my bad.
Love is real.
Love is real.
Uh-huh. We don't usually do a big like couples Valentine's because our anniversary is like right after that.
Yeah, it's like the next week.
Yes, but we usually do something, don't we?
Yeah, we have always done a big family Valentine's.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that when I was a kid, you know, especially like middle school and high school, like you're in such an awkward stage. And I wasn't one. I didn't have a boyfriend in during those times most of the time. So, you know, but you've got
most of the time.
Yeah, probably ever. I don't think ever. So anyway, but you know, you've got kids that bring gifts for their girlfriend, and you got girls carrying around teddy bears and flowers, and you know, if you're not, you can just feel really left out and really kind of like depressed on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Well,
as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I felt it too. And I just never wanted my kids to feel left out on love.
Right.
So that's always been a big thing to me, especially on Valentine's Day. I mean, they're always loved, but Valentine's Day, there's such a high concentration of that. Yeah. I just always wanted to make sure that they knew, whether they had a Valentine or not, that they are definitely loved.
Especially in school, where all the kids are looking at each other and they're kind of keeping count of like who got the most, whatever. That just happens.
It does. And now our son actually does have a Valentine this year.
He does.
So we have to share him, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Valentine's Day is actually 1 year since they went on their first date.
Yes, and she asked him.
She did.
Yes.
Yeah. So they'll be celebrating a year. They really are the cutest.
They are the cutest couple.
And for Christmas, I got them these silly socks that they have like little faces and eyes on them, and they've got arms, and at the end of their little hands, they have magnets. So if they're sitting next to each other,
the arms
their
go
little
out.
socks hold hands. It was hilarious. And they thought they were hilarious, which was my intention.
Oh, they were
to get
really
a laugh.
good.
That was funny.
That was good. We have done some really fun family Valentine's Days. 1 year we loaded the kids up and we went to Ruidoso, New Mexico, and we rented the Airbnb cabin in the woods.
Yeah, and it was nice. It wasn't super fancy. It was in a really beautiful spot, but there was kind of one problem with it.
Yeah, so like it was one of those things like if they had done a YouTube video and like they did like some nice panning shots around the cabin, and there was like a deck outside with a hot tub and all the trees, and it's so quiet and secluded. That would have been great because on YouTube you cannot smell a thing. However, when we get there, there's like little sort of scratching noises underneath that deck and the definite smell of a little cute skunk family.
Yes.
Who weren't paying rent even. Like we had to pay to stay there. They did not pay. No,
but they stayed the whole time we were there.
They stayed the whole time. And it was an interesting aroma.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But the highlight of that trip was taking the kids snow tubing.
That was fun.
Oh my goodness. Emily, she was so scared back then. She was scared of heights. She was scared of everything. So so the idea of going up the little, it's kind of like a little, what do you call that? Escalator. So we rode that up and got to the top, and she's just like, what have you gotten me into? Right. So, but once she went down once,
she was in.
She was hooked. I mean, she's like, let's do it again and again and again and again. And and Tyler too. And he was a little bitty guy back then. He was, he was probably 4 or 5.
It was way faster than it should have been because
everything had melted and refrozen. So it was like, ice. Flying down on an ice hill. So
not very safe, but fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So we've done various things over the years, and one of my favorites, and the one that had the most thought put into it, was when I surprised you with a trip to Valentine, Texas on Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was pretty wild because we were camping at Fort Davis. So we
were already on a trip.
Right. And we were having a great time there. And
so what I had done is I'd already made sure with the owners of the RV park there that it would be okay for us to leave like all of our stuff behind while we went to Valentine.
Not the RV, but like all our sewer pipes and water hose and all
because I wanted to make a quick exit. So that morning I got up early before you woke up and I went outside, detached the sewer pipes. I had everything sort of ready.
So sneaky.
And then I just like, we're going to hook up the RV. We're going somewhere.
I was so confused.
Like, but what about all the stuff?
Because I'm a planner. So I'm like really into all the details. And I could not. I mean, we go out in the truck all the time when we're camping and go, maybe a day trip or something. But the whole RV, I was so confused.
But I had already contacted the owner of the RV park in Valentine, Texas. Now, the whole thing is it's based on this event that they used to do at the time where it's like an outdoor concert. It's country music. There was a brewery there that was sponsoring the whole event. Yep. So it was Valentine's in Valentine. So very well publicized.
Oh, yeah.
Very well planned.
Yep.
So I contact the owner of the RV park there and I reserve a space for our RV, which was there was only like 8 spaces there.
It was basically a parking lot.
So, but it was cool because we were traveling there and I said to you, okay, because I was not telling you anything.
No, you were being very secretive.
So I'm like, okay, I have to call the owner of the RV park that we're going to be staying at to tell him that we're on our way. So I call the owner of the RV park and I said, so do I call you Mayor, Mr. Mayor? And you're like, what? Turns out the owner of the RV park, and I didn't know this, but he was the mayor of Valentine, Texas. He was the mayor of the city.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to the mayor on the phone. So anyway, we had a great time. We parked there. We did the whole thing, and the kids came with us. It was a great time.
It was. We had the best time. And we tried it again the next year, which it wasn't really a surprise that year. That was more planned, but it was so miserably
Freezing.
cold that year. Oh my gosh. We were bundled up, but the wind was just so cold.
hard.
We still had fun, but I don't think we stayed as long that
we
time.
couldn't. Even the beer froze.
Yeah. It was frosty. We haven't always had a special destination, but we always at least do some kind of special meal. We've grilled steaks, we've grilled burgers, we've done build your own pizzas with little heart-shaped pepperonis.
Yes.
We've done build your own tacos with heart-shaped little pieces of cheese. All the things.
Which means so much.
Because I'm a little cheesy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you are. But it means so much to the kids.
It does. They get a big kick out of it. One year we were at South Padre Island. I tell you, I wouldn't mind celebrating on the beach again.
Me either. There's something so romantic about walking along the beach together,
hand in hand,
with the dogs kind of running ahead of us,
sand.
toes in the sand, and there's so much to do there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just always want my people to know that they are loved on Valentine's Day and every day.
Yes.
Parents, make sure that your kids know that they're loved on Valentine's Day. It can be a rough day for some kids, so just go out of your way a little bit just to make sure they know that they're
special.
loved.
Yeah. I think you and Emily are actually working at the brewery on Valentine's Day this year.
Yeah, we
right?
are. Hey, maybe we can cut all the pepperonis for the flatbreads into little hearts.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And then the guys could pretend like it was all their idea. They called ahead and had this special pizza, this special flatbread made with heart-shaped pepperonis.
You know, now that I've said that, I'm going to probably have to follow through with it.
You might have to follow through with it, yes.
Oh, gosh.
But you've made Valentine's food items for us plenty of times.
Yeah, we've done a lot of different things. We've done some fun. There's always hearts involved or something. It's just fun. It's fun.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes.
I heard a story about a couple. They went on a Valentine's date at a fancy restaurant.
Okay.
The woman tells the man to say something to her that will get her heart racing.
Oh, okay.
He says, "I forgot my wallet."
Wow.
So do you feel like there's extra pressure put on guys for Valentine's Day?
Yes, and I think rightly so. I know for most guys, it's not the most natural thing to do to express love. It doesn't come easy. And I also know that most ladies notice if it's been some time since you did. So I also think that our partners can kind of get used to that mode of like not hearing "I love you," not hearing those expressions. And they, your lady might say, "Oh, it's not a big deal," but it kind of is, and there's no reason to continue that way. So I think it's good for guys to be, let's say, made aware of their romantic responsibilities, at least once a year or twice. Anniversary too. Important.
Okay.
And Valentine's Day.
Fair. Okay. Ours just happened to be a week apart, so you get yours over with really quick.
Over with? Wow. Wow. I thought you were going to say like they're together, so you remember.
Oh, an abundance of.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably what I should have said.
That's what you should have said. Yes.
Oh gosh. I feel like the word love gets thrown around a lot these days in an unbelievable way.
Yes, it does.
What do you think of when you hear the word love?
Well, when I say I love you to you, which is at least 3-4 times a day or so.
A lot more.
I mean, it could mean different things.
Sure.
I mean, first of all, it could mean I'm sorry. Or I could be simply saying thank you for doing something. Or I could be saying I love doing life with you. I can't imagine life without you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or I could be providing reassurance to you, like if you're stressed or things aren't going well,
Sure.
I can say I love you, just to say I'm here for you, I'm with you, you know. Most of the time it's when, like you're doing things for family or friends and it's kind of a thoughtful thing. Like you often think of things that even they're not thinking of.
Yeah.
And it's unexpected. And I'm saying, you are so uniquely great.
Aww.
So it's kind of a shorthand way of exclaiming that I notice you, that I see you.
Yeah.
And I love you.
Aw. You hear people talking about all the time, oh, it was just love at first sight.
Yep.
I'm not sure that was the case for us, but
Wow. All right.
or for me necessarily. I mean, as some of you may know, we originally met online.
Yes, we did.
Would you like to tell our listeners what picture you originally sent me?
Well, it was a series of pictures. Like the first time. So you sent me a photograph of you.
Yeah, which was
The picture on the balcony.
legitimate. Yes, it was a true picture of me.
On the balcony.
Yeah.
Legs on the
Hey,
rail.
you don't have to go into detail.
Anyway, so you sent me that picture and I'm like, oh gosh. So then there's me. So I am going to send her a picture. And so the first picture I sent you was like a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think that was probably, there were various different ones, but you sent like
orangutan,
3 or so of.
I was running out of different types of monkeys. Like
Yeah.
every time you asked me, it'd be a different monkey that I would send you.
Yeah.
So.
But I knew one thing about you from that was I knew you had a sense of humor, right?
Yeah, and I didn't take myself seriously,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So whatever you looked like, it was going to be better than a monkey.
Right, and that was that's the brain. Like I'm thinking, like when she finally does get the real picture, it's going to be like, oh yeah, well at least you're better
you're
looking
not a
than
monkey.
At least you're better looking than a monkey. Marginally, just a little bit better.
You claim to have known we were meant to be together from the very beginning.
Yes.
It might have taken me a little more time to come to that conclusion, but
Yeah, but for me at that point in my life, I was determined that I was going to live my life on track. So I was going to go with what I believed I was supposed to do rather than meeting other people's expectations.
okay.
And so, like, our relationship, the way it came about, the way that we developed our friendship at first, and I just felt like it was meant to be. Like, it was the one part of my life that made absolute sense. So I came to our relationship with that, like, sort of overarching kind of feeling about the whole thing. So, yes, I was way ahead of you on that thing. But I knew it wasn't going to take long before, you
I did
caught
catch up.
Yeah.
I did catch up, and apparently pretty quickly because
Yes.
we were from the day that we met in person till the
Yes.
day we got married was about 9 months.
Right. And
Which is just crazy to think
we
about.
were already talking about me coming over to live in the US, within the first 3 weeks of us
Yeah.
meeting in person.
So to me, love is an action word.
Yes.
It's a verb. You can say all the words, but love is still something that you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
We're about to celebrate our 23rd wedding anniversary in a couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like we both live out our love in our marriage and in our family.
We do. We do.
When someone loves us, they make a point of showing up for us. Mm-hmm. That can look different in different relationships, though.
So, thinking about next week, I really struggle sometimes to think of a gift for you that would say what I want it to say. Does that make any sense? You know, I find it easier to do something together, go for a meal, a walk, you know, something like that. I think it's more meaningful to do something for you consistently, like make sure you have a cup of coffee in the morning or walk to work with you, make you a cup of tea when you come home. You know, like something that feels like I'm serving you. I feel like that's more meaningful than a gift. You know?
I mean, I would agree. I think love is in the little things. And I have the absolute best 6-foot coffee maker. You bring me coffee every morning.
I try to, yes. Sometimes I don't remember and I like bust out bed and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot the coffee.
But seriously, you do repairs on the truck, on the RV, on the house, and all of those things keep us safe. And you help around the house with dishes and laundry and, you know, just things like that. You work hard to earn money for our family. And those are all actions that show both me and the kids love.
And you make sure that we have what we need. You're always thinking about what's coming up next in our lives. Like you've got in your mind, like all of our schedules, like you know what's important to us, what's coming up and what we're going to need to, you know, be equipped and ready to do those things. And us signers, we like to talk everything through, like whatever's coming up in our lives, you know, we just like to talk it through and from every different angle. And so you just very patiently listen to us no matter how long that takes. We love you.
And I love you too.
and I apologize.
Well, it's fine. That is, I love doing that. It's important to me to tell you thank you when you do those little things too. When our efforts go unacknowledged, we can feel kind of invisible and unseen sometimes. We forget why we're bothering to put in the effort if no one notices it. It doesn't matter if I'm at home loving on my family by cooking a nice meal for them, keeping the house clean so that we all have a comfortable place to hang out, or physically giving a hug or a kiss. All of those things are actions with some sort of a result. I can tell my husband and kids all day long that I love them, but if I never back that up with actions that show that I love them, my words are empty. And on the flip side of that, if I'm constantly giving of myself with no acknowledgement or appreciation, then that's hard too. Sure. I will say, though, that my family is pretty good at saying thank you and showing appreciation.
I feel like loving you, when I express my love for you, it's kind of like an act of worship. I feel like, you know, like you might be the one I'm serving in bringing you a cup of coffee, or I'm telling you that I love you. But what I feel like when I'm doing that is I'm really giving praise to God and saying, thank you for bringing us together. And to share the life that you gave both of us. It's just a very special thing. So it's kind of bigger than us.
No, I get that. Love takes work. And work is the definition of a verb.
Yes.
If we think about this for a minute and really consider the meaning of love, we'll see that it is filled with actions. Sacrificing, serving, listening, honoring, protecting, trusting, appreciating, affirming, among many other things.
Love is about making a positive difference in the lives of those around us. It doesn't matter if you're single, in a relationship, married, have children, or not. We can all show love. And everyone has a desire to be loved.
Yeah, when I was doing research for this episode, I found a song called Love is a Verb, which, funny enough,
Yes.
by John Mayer. And it really hit the nail on the head. It stresses that love is not just a feeling or a thing, but a deliberate action. The lyrics, "When you show me your love, I don't need your words," implies love is not something to say, but something to demonstrate, with a repeated emphasis on show me,
Yes.
rather than just talking about it. I love that.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't ever tell our people that we love them.
Right.
In fact, telling someone you love them is important too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's equally important to back those words up with actions.
It's kind of like the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
So the word love is thrown around so much in our culture today. We can say in one breath, I love coffee, or we can say I love my spouse, or we can say I love Jesus.
Yeah.
The meaning of the word can cover a broad range of things from the essential to the trivial. So how can we know what true love really is? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Does it even matter?
Great points. I know we have a variety of listeners.
Yes.
Everything from young and single to retired couples who have been married for a really, really long time.
Oh, yeah.
So how do we sum this up in a way that applies to everyone regardless of their age, marital status, or life situation? True love is more than a sensation, an emotion, or a feeling. Let's look at the bigger picture. First of all, regardless of your love life situation, you can rest in the fact that you are loved.
John 3:16 is perhaps one of the most well-known scriptures in the Bible. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life." So let's break this down a little bit to truly understand the depth of this verse.
Yeah, firstly, it starts with, "For God so loved the world." Despite all of our flaws, mistakes, and sins, God loves you and he loves me unconditionally. He loves each one of us regardless of who we are, what we have done. His love knows no boundaries. It extends to every single person in the world.
Secondly, God loved the world so much that he gave his one and only Son. God's love was not just about words or feelings. It was shown through action. He was willing to give up his Son, who was without sin, to die on the cross for our sins.
This act of selfless love is beyond our human understanding. Love this large requires sacrifice and is unconditional and all-encompassing. It is the kind of love that surpasses all other loves because it comes from God himself.
Love is not just an emotion, but an action. Love really is a verb.
I told you.
Yes. You must actively choose to show love toward others.
This doesn't mean that you should avoid addressing issues or speaking the truth in love, but it does mean that you choose your words carefully and seek to reconcile rather than stirring up conflict. Love goes beyond our differences and flaws and covers our mistakes and shortcomings.
It's all about motive. Love is powerful and can overcome the darkest of days or the most difficult of situations. This love reflects the unconditional love that God has for us. It was because of his great love for us that Jesus died for our sins.
So here's the deal. Love has the power to heal and bring restoration.
Yes,
it
does.
allows you to forgive and overlook others' mistakes, just as God has done for you. As you go about your day, remember to love one another deeply. Choose to forgive and extend grace to those who have wronged you. God's love is unconditional, and we can extend that kind of love to the people in our lives.
This applies to everyone. This Valentine's Day, whether you find yourself married, single, or it's complicated, we can all show love to others because we are deeply loved.
When we start looking outward and looking for ways to love and serve others, the love will be returned to us.
Yes, it will.
Our hearts will be completely full of beautiful views.
Yes. Thank you for joining us today. Our hope is always to inspire and encourage our listeners. So we hope that this episode encouraged you to think about how you can actively love those around you.
Yes, love is a verb.
Yes.
A verb is an action word, so go out there and show someone some love this week.
If you like what we do here at the Beautiful View podcast, you can show your appreciation by becoming a supporting member for only $5 a month. We'll send you a members-only Beautiful View podcast sticker and a weekly encouraging newsletter to your inbox. Your support helps cover our production costs. The link to sign up is in our show notes.
Also, be sure to check out our new merch store.
Yes.
We're so excited about this. And the link to that will also be in our show notes.
Yes, and we're going to be adding more products over the next
yes.
few weeks, so keep an eye out for that.
They're coming.
They're coming. And following on from that thought, we want to give this beanie right here with our little logo design on the front. We want to give this to one of our listeners. And we want it to go to someone who listens to the podcast.
Yep.
So this is the only place that you will hear about this offer.
Yeah.
So to have a chance to win this beanie, go now to our Facebook or our Instagram feed, and there you will see a post about the merch store. Comment on that post that you love it. Then share it, and we will enter your name into the drawing that will happen at 8 p.m. on Valentine's Day. So we will notify the winner, and we will give you a shout out on our next episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
As we conclude each podcast, we always like to give the topic that we will be discussing next time. So what will we be talking about?
Well, as we mentioned earlier in this episode, we will be celebrating our 23rd wedding anniversary.
Yes, we will.
This one is kind of fun because February 23rd is our 23rd anniversary. Anyway, we are calling this episode Growing Together.
Marriage takes work.
Yes, it does.
Oh, come on. In 23 years of marriage, we've been through a lot individually and as a couple.
Yeah.
In the next episode, we're going to talk about some of the ways we have each changed and how we have continued to grow together as a married couple. This should be a good one.
It should. It'll be interesting.
So you've heard about the guy who walks towards his wife on his wedding day. She watches him walk down the aisle, arrive at her side at the altar, and as they begin to sing the first hymn, she goes, how true. Aisle, altar, hymn.
Oh my, this is going to be really interesting.
I got my own jokes.
Oh gosh. Thank you once again for joining us today. We hope you have a great day, and remember to always look for opportunities in your life to love on someone and to see a beautiful view.
Yes.
We could climb a mighty mountain, float on down a winding river, travel back in time and face our future too. Oh, I'm not scared of where I'm going, 'cause I know whose hands I'm holding. Oh, I'd go anywhere as long as you're going too. And I'd go anywhere as long as I'm with you. Yeah, I'd go